Honestly, it just surprises me that we are not talking about this more when it comes to healing. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. I'm a holistic nutritionist, energy healer, and hypnotherapist. And on my channel, we talk about health, wellness, spirituality, subconscious mind, and so much more. So if you are new here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and let's dive right in. So here's the thing, as a society, we're really good at telling people to take a drug, take a pill, just do a protocol, but are we really solving the root cause of people's health issues? Are we really getting to the bottom of things? And are we really providing people with lasting change? Now, I get it. It's way easier to just pop a pill than to do the deeper inner work. But that's really where all of the healing actually lies. And now, I'm not going to tell you you have to go and spend thousands on therapy. You don't have to, this is completely free and will completely change your life. The way our society is set up is that it wants to continue to honestly perpetuate the sickness, the illness, the depression, anxiety, because so often we just think that it's going to be simple. We just take a pill, right? We just take a pharmaceutical, right? And it'll just make our problems disappear. But I actually believe that this is perpetuating the problem. And even though it feeds our economy and it makes the world go round, right? But it's not actually healing us. And if it were, I don't think we would be continuing to see depression and anxiety and mental health, physical health, cancer, heart attacks, all of these things continue to be on the rise. And if I'm being completely honest, this is a really, really big thing that I was missing and I really still have to check in with, and actually am currently working on, because it's really big and it's not easy. It's not easy. And this is something that really came so full circle, and really Spirit was completely telling me this past weekend that I need to reevaluate and really look deeper at in my own life. So what is this missing key? What is this thing? It's presence. It's presence. Are we being present? Now, what does this have to do with healing? What is this? Why would I even bring being present into the picture when it comes to talking about our health and well-being and healing? So number one, parasympathetic. Now, you've probably heard, just in case you aren't familiar, there's parasympathetic and sympathetic state. Now, our parasympathetic state, think of it as the rest and digest. This is where we want to be. This is where healing occurs. Now, I know, so here's it doesn't really make sense on a linear, we need to kind of put the pieces together, because if we're not present, if we're not in the present moment, we are either worrying about the past, or rather dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When we're doing either of these two things, which worrying about the past is depression, or rather dwelling on the past is depression, and worrying about the future is anxiety, right? So we have these two things, and both of these take us out of the present moment. And side note, how many cases of depression and anxiety do we have nowadays, right? A ton. Because if we're not in the parasympathetic state, we are in the sympathetic state, which is the fight or flight, and basically what the majority of people are running off of nowadays. And I think this is so fascinating, because my theory is that we're all so fixated on social media and our phones. I mean, never in history have we had access to all the information we want, all of the people we want, literally at our fingertips, right? And I think that it actually creates this dopamine response in our mind. Well, of course it does. They've studied that, but that is so addicting that we actually don't know how to focus and be in parasympathetic. We don't know how to be in rest and digest. And my theory is that it's actually we need the stimulation to actually give us this false sense of energy. Because what happens is the cortisol kicks in and it gives us that energy, but it's not real energy. It's not coming from your core. It's just like these outside inputs. And that's why so many people have to take sleeping medications to be able to sleep, and then anti-anxiety medications to dim their anxiety, and antidepressants so they're not so sad, and then caffeine to get them through the day. It's because we're addicted to these outside stimulus that are keeping us in fight or flight. And I believe that we do this as a result of not dealing with the trauma that we have experienced in our past. And really, we can deal with the trauma from our past. We can deal with all of these things, that these inner demons and these problems and conflicts, through presence, through just being in the present moment. Because you can't be fixated on the future or dwelling on the past and work through your stuff, right? And here's the other thing. We call it rest and digest for a reason. Now, I've talked about anxiety and depression and all of these other things, but what about gut issues? How many people, like, I haven't actually met a person that's come to me who has not experienced gut, like some sort of gut issues. Like, gut issues, I feel like, are one of the most under talked about issues as well going on. And so, well, if you're having gut issues, how often have I seen that it has actually just been undigested emotions? You cannot digest if you are in the sympathetic, the fight or flight, because our ancestors, fight or flight meant running from a tiger, right? We've all heard this. Well, nowadays we don't have tigers to run from. We just have the tigers and demons that we create ourselves to run from. And all of these situations and scenarios and social media and work and all of the stressors that we have, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not like saying that these aren't real stressors. I totally get it. They are. But if we are not being present, all of a sudden they seem way too big. They seem way too large that we can't even deal with them. When we can become present, then we can drop into the rest and digest. We can actually digest, assimilate our food. We don't have to have gut issues. And that's honestly the only way that we can heal. That's the only way that we can actually truly heal, is to be in that parasympathetic state, to allow our body to do all of its natural processes. Because if it's in fight or flight, it's not worried about everything going on in here. It sends all of the blood to our extremities and we can't heal. And the number 2 reason that I believe presence is truly the missing ingredient and one of the most important things for healing is, you know, and I'm going to say healing, but really our entire lives, and just fulfillment and satisfaction and happiness, like true happiness. How many people can say that they're just truly happy? And so what presence does is it keeps us from running around in circles. I believe that so many people are just doing what they need to do to get by. They're just doing these actions on a day-to-day basis of what they need to do for work, what they need to do for their family, their partner, whatever it is. And it just keeps us on this loop of just going in circles, and then rinse and repeat. Every day we wake up and then we do the same thing over and over and over. If we're just running on autopilot and we're not actually truly being present, we're not able to tune into the wisdom of our heart. We're not able to tune into our inner guidance system, which is going to tell us exactly what we need. It's going to tell us exactly what we need to heal. It's going to tell us exactly what steps to take. It's going to tell us exactly where to go to find healing, to find fulfillment, to find enjoyment and satisfaction and inner peace. But if we're just on this hamster wheel, if we're just doing what we always knew and always think we should do, I mean, then we're acting from, again, we go back to the dwelling in the past or worrying about the future. We just act based on what we knew what to do in the past, or act what we think we should do based on what we perceive is going to happen in the future. Rather, if we're present, we can truly tune in to the infinite portal of wisdom that is available to us. It's available to all of us. We just think that it lies in some guru or a healer or our chiropractor, acupuncturist, or naturopath. It doesn't. It lies within you. And all of those healers are only going to lead you. They're not going to lie. They're only going to lead you to your inner wisdom. And so what can we do? What can we do to truly be present? And I say this because honestly, like I shared with you guys at the beginning, like this is something I'm working through too. And Spirit really, really showed me like, hey, Jasmine, like you need to work on this too, because it is really easy in our current society to just go through the motions and just run on this hamster wheel and receive the fake stimulus from our devices and social media, and right, but it's taking us out of our bodies, it's taking us out of the present moment. So some things that I think are really important and that I personally do to cultivate presence are: 1, meditation. Every single day, whether it's 1 minute or an hour. It just has to happen for me. It has to happen. And it really brings me into my body. It sets the tone for my day. And I just can't start a day without it now. Second one, body scans. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? Can you feel tension? Can you feel that response, that stress response? Like, check in, just become aware. And number 3, which I think has been such a game changer for me, is journaling. Journaling is so life transforming, and I believe that it really allows us to dialogue with our higher self. And if we can dialogue with our higher self, well then we can actually calm the circuits, because I believe that journaling gives us the awareness. And so as we journal, we actually are able to receive this guidance and wisdom from our higher self so that we can become aware during our day. Because I don't believe that it has to be some massive transformational shift. It's actually so often just the awareness of it. So as we journal, I believe that then throughout the day, we can begin to catch ourselves and then be like, oh, I'm really not in the present moment, can I? So it's just always bringing us back. It's always redirecting, because I mean, human beings, we have like millions of thoughts every single day. It's 1, impossible to change them all, and 2, exhausting, right? So I believe that if we can just kind of like have this loving awareness and just be like, oh, I'm worrying about the future, or I'm dwelling in the past, how can I come back into the now? And I believe that maybe that's a 4th tip. I would say that's a 4th tip, is just awareness that we can cultivate through journaling, through dialoguing with our higher self. And as we cultivate and practice this awareness in our everyday lives, we truly, I believe, can begin to come back into the present moment. So, my friends, if you're going to practice this with me, let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button if you are going to give one of these a try, because truly, I believe if we want to heal, if we want to have the deepest satisfaction and greatest fulfillment in our life, like yes, healing and just absolutely healing, and also just having an amazing life, I really believe it is presence, and presence will lead us to that. I mean, I don't think it's called presence for a reason, because it's a present, it's a gift. There is nothing outside of this present moment. It's just our perceptions of the past and our anxieties about the future. But it's all we really have is right here, right now. And so, my loves, until next time, I'm sending you all infinite love,